One Piece, a show loved by many people around the world and for great reasons. It's 1,000 episodes filled with great characters, great fights, great animation, and great plot. What more could you ask for? But throughout the 1,000 episodes that this show has had, only about 100 people have died. I think. That's according to a quick Google search and checking the One Piece wiki. Either way, the One Piece world has great healthcare, or people are immortal. Or they have plot armor. Yeah, that's right. I'm looking at you, Mr. Straw Hat. How are you alive still? Just because you're going to be king of the pirates? That makes no sense. Anyways, as a former One Piece watcher myself, I always found the part where people died was most interesting, because it never ever happened. So I decided, why not rank all the One Piece deaths 1 to 10 based on how they died, the situation they were in, and whatever else, like dialogue and crap like that. I'll also be going over their backstories so we can get more emotionally attached. Also, when I mean ranking all the deaths, I mean ranking all the important ones, because who cares about Johnson from the freaking Dickhead Pirates who had 5 seconds of screen time and died from getting shot by someone. So, without further ado, we're going to start off with... Yeah, Kuina. I don't blame you if you don't remember her. She was in Zoro's flashback when we were learning about his character, and she was Zoro's first training partner and Zoro's first challenge, I guess you could say. So she was a sword fighter just like Zoro, and they would fight all the time, and Kuina would always beat Zoro's ass. And of course, Zoro would get pissed and wanted to defeat her, but he never could because he wasn't strong enough. Then one night, after losing to Kuina once again, they sat down and talked about growing up and about their future like they were in the movie St. Elmo's Fire. They both had the same goal, to be the world's greatest swordsman/swordswoman. But Kuina admitted that she would never be able to achieve that goal because as a girl, boys would always be naturally more stronger than her. Which is a terrible mindset to have, you know. But to be fair, she was going through puberty and hormones and stuff, you know. They make you crazy. Pretty sure she touched her boob in that scene too. But anyways, Zoro told her not to think like that, and if she really tried, she could achieve that goal. It was a very emotional scene, I will admit. But sadly, Kuina fell ill and was bedridden. She was extremely sick until one day the sickness got to her and she...
Dead!
Yeah, she fell down the stairs like a Looney Tunes character and died. Like, what? That took a sharp turn. I think it would have made more sense if she died from the sickness. Falling down the stairs seems kind of comical, don't you think? Anyways, I rank this death a 4 out of 10. Obviously, the way she died drops the score a lot, but the setting and dialogue wasn't actually too bad in my opinion. But even if she did die from the sickness, I think it'd only be like a 5 out of 10, because nothing really extreme happened, and there's plenty of people in the One Piece world who have died from a sickness. So, yeah, this stuff was kind of boring. Moving on. Gol D. Roger. One of the most infamous deaths in the One Piece world. I should have started off with him, but I kind of forgot when I started writing the script. But anyways, as we all know, Gold Roger, the king of the pirates, achieved it all. Wealth, fame, and power. And that's according to the first intro to the One Piece anime. Roger was born in Logtown, and like many pirates of the current era, set out to sea for adventure. He met a man named Silvers Rayleigh and quickly became Roger's first mate. As Roger sailed the ocean blue, he picked up many crewmates along the way, many of which became very famous pirates themselves, such as Edward Newgate, Red Hair Shanks, Odin, and Johnny Depp. Gold Roger made a name for himself, becoming one of the strongest, if not the strongest pirate in the world. He had sailed everywhere, Laugh Tale, Fishman Island, you name it. But sadly, Gold Roger had contracted an incurable disease, one that would surely kill him. And as mentioned before, Roger had done everything and sailed everywhere. So what does he do now? He disbands the Roger Pirates. Knowing he had a child coming along, he asked an old enemy named Monkey D. Garp to take care of that child, knowing he would surely do so no matter the answer Garp gave him. And with nothing left to do, Gold Roger turns himself into the Marines. They take him to where he was born to end his life, Logtown. The Marines were hoping that this sends a message to all other pirates and future pirates that this is how they would end up if they continued their life of crime. But they were wrong, because with Roger's dying breath, he exclaimed these famous words.
You want my treasure?
Just shut your mouth.
You can have it! I left everything I gathered in one place. Now you just have to find it!
Gold Roger had sparked the beginning of the great pirate era. This death is a 9 out of 10 for me. We don't get to see the actual execution and his head getting chopped off, but the idea of it happening is just crazy to think about and can give you butterflies in your stomach. The setting is fantastic, and with the will of D, seeing Roger smile through it all is just a great touch. And let's be honest, without Roger's death, we wouldn't have One Piece. So, thanks Gold Roger. Next up, Hiriluk, aka the Quack, was a doctor who resided in Drum Island. Many of the citizens in Drum Island were afraid or resented him because of how unreliable of a doctor he was. If you were sick and he tried to help you, he would always end up making it worse. This didn't deter Hiriluk though, as he would keep trying his hardest to be the doctor that Drum Island needed. Then one night, a blue-nosed reindeer who meant no harm was chased out of the town and into the forest with severe injuries due to the citizens. The same citizens that drove Hiriluk out of town. Hiriluk found him and healed his wounds. They bonded together perfectly. They were both hated by the citizens and were always chased out of town. They were both only trying to help and be nice, but the citizens never saw it that way. They were alike. Hiriluk took this young reindeer under his wing and taught him the ways of medicine and went on to call this reindeer Tony Chopper. Which, can I say, never really made sense to me why he put two Tonys in his name. It's like Anthony Chopper. Or does Tony count as his middle name? Or is it part of his first name? Sort of like Al-Farouq Aminu, the NBA player, has two first names, like it's Al-Farouq Aminu.
Dumbass motherfucker.
So to speed things up, Hiriluk explains to Chopper that the skull and crossbones on a pirate flag symbolize freedom and purity. And as we fast forward in time, Hiriluk has contracted a terminal illness.
Oh no, this is horrible.
What is it, Doctor?
This man has no insurance.
Anyways, Chopper, being the caring young man he is, decided to try and help Hiriluk, his father figure, his mentor, by looking for a cure for his disease. Chopper came across a picture of an Ameodake mushroom in his wizard book, or spell book, or cookbook, or whatever, with a skull and crossbones next to it. Uh-oh, that means it's bad, but Chopper doesn't know that because Hiriluk told him that the skull and crossbones are good. So Chopper went on a journey to find the mushroom. Eventually, Chopper came across the Ameodake mushroom, only risking his life for it, and gave it to Hiriluk. Hiriluk, not wanting Chopper's efforts to be in vain, crafted mushroom soup with it and ate it, knowing full well what would happen. Then, more bad stuff happened. Wapol, the king of Drum Island, who I totally forgot to mention earlier, lured Hiriluk to his castle by saying that his doctors had fallen ill and needed to be cured. Hiriluk went up to the castle and realized he got. Hiriluk, knowing he was going to die anyways, sat down and gave us one of the most memorable speeches in One Piece history.
Sing out!
Then he exploded. I give this death a 9 out of 10 because explosions are freaking cool. If there's a way I wanted to go, it'd be through explosion. I mean, that's sick. So this is kind of where I stopped watching One Piece. I got to the Reverie arc and just stopped watching all of a sudden. I don't know why, but from what I remember from the later arcs was these two characters, Kanjuro and Kinemon. Two best friends turned enemies. And I honestly don't know why Kanjuro and Kinemon fought each other, so I looked it up, and apparently Kanjuro betrayed Luffy and his friends because he was in an enemy pirate group the whole time and just decided to betray them, I guess. But I watched the fight between Kinemon and Kanjuro, and it's probably a 6 out of 10 in my opinion. The killing blow was kind of lame. You know, Kinemon just sort of ran up and sliced him, and there was a little bit of blood that came out. But the dialogue between the two of them was really cool. Like, they were talking about how they used to be friends, and like they had a flashback, and they're like, you know, they got their arms around each other, and they're dancing, and they're having fun, and they're laughing, they're smiling, and it's just like, it's just sad to see them fight like this, knowing that they were friends all this time, and Kanjuro decided to be a dick and betray him. Don Quixote Rocinante is one of my favorite characters in One Piece. The fact that he's completely different from Doflamingo, you know, he's a former Marine, he has a caring personality, especially towards Law, but we don't really learn that in the beginning. That's kind of like character development and like later on in the story, but I thought that he was a really cool character. I won't lie, I've kind of blanked on this part of the story, but from what I remember, we really get to know about Rosinante and Law's backstory, and he plays the caretaker role for young Law, since Law was, you guessed it, diagnosed with the disease as a young child. Rosinante felt bad for young Law and decided to help find a cure for him, which was unlike Rosinante, as he was known for hating kids. Both of them travel to different places for different reasons that I can't remember. Eventually they end up at Minion Island, the place where Law's cure would be found. A band of pirates held the sacred Ape Ape no Mi in a base where they thought no one would get a hold of it. Boy, were they wrong. After successfully sneaking into the base and grabbing the fruit, Rosinante fled the building and was home free until he tripped down a hill and was held at gunpoint by pirates. Okay? Rosinante escaped somehow and made it back to Law. After Law was being a whiny little baby and not believing that the fruit would heal him, Rosinante force-fed it to him. Rosinante then gave Law a letter and told him to give it to a marine that was there at the island with them so they could get the hell out of there. Unfortunately for them, the marine that Law gave the letter to was an agent of Doflamingo named Virgo, and he was pissed at Rosinante for betraying his brother. So he beat the shit out of them both. I don't know why he beat up Law, but I think that's what happened in the story. So Rosinante and Law got out of Dodge, and Rosinante, knowing he wasn't going to come out of this alive, decided to save Law. Rosinante put him in a treasure chest with a soundproof barrier around it so that bad guys wouldn't know he was there. And with a smile on his face, he said goodbye to Law one last time and told Law that when he thinks about him, he will remember him smiling. And with that, Rosinante took his fate head on. His fate coming from his own brother, Doflamingo. Standing across from each other in a western standoff in the harsh cold winter, Doflamingo riddles him with bullets and leaves him to die, smiling through it all. This may sound weird, but I really like this death. It's definitely one of my favorites, and it's a 9 out of 10 for me. Watching the snow pile up on Rosinante's dead body as they carry Law away was actually really sad and impactful. Like, we get to see Law open the chest crying and seeing him laying there and knowing Law can't do anything, it really hits hard. It's a really powerful moment and makes you appreciate what Rosinante did for Law, because if it wasn't for him, Law would have died. Just the setting in general was really cool. It was dark, died at the hands of his own brother. It was a great death. It was a very great death. Well, that does it for now. I'll probably make a part 2 because there's some deaths that I skipped over that were pretty important to the story. I just got lazy and didn't feel like including them, so yeah. Well, this outro sucks, but I want to start recording and editing this video, so I'm gonna go do that. What do popular YouTubers say nowadays at the end of videos? Oh, yeah. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.